The Gentlementor.
I don't know.
I can think of lots of people that have actually done worthwhile things to improve the overall condition of humanity. Excuse me, humanity. Who probably would have benefited greatly from that $1 million and might have even used it to, reinvest in their own good works, whatever those are. No, the only reason Fauci got the $1 million is because he was the pawn with the microphone.
He's a guy, yeah.
He don't know anything. All he knows is when to say what, and who pays him when he does.
Right.
And that's, like I said, that's all of the expertise you can find on, or most 99.9% of the expertise available to you in modern media and the internet.
Right.
Is self-proclaimed
And did
style
he pay,
of expertise.
Did he have to pay the $387,000 in taxes on that $1 million? I'm just curious.
Probably not, because it came from a I love this part, an Israeli think tank. Which makes me go, Israelis giving away $1 million?
Why not? They can.
They have it.
Yeah.
It seems counterintuitive that they would just give somebody $1 million.
Yeah. So I was going back over some notes of a speaker that I was listening to this time last year. Some notes in my thing here that I take notes in, and it was talking about how content-based forums like this, or a content-based event, are going to start diminishing over time. This was 12 months ago, almost exactly 12 months to the day. And it was talking about, what's funny, it was right before the whole COVID thing. And it was talking about how content-based events, content-based podcasts, whatever, news events, whatever, TV shows, whatever, you name it. Anything that's content-based is going to start to decline because content is everywhere. Content's on the internet. I can look up content about anything at any moment because there are plenty of experts out there for me to glean the content
and
off.
platforms.
What he said is going to change and going to really elevate over the next few years.
Listen up, everybody.
Are you ready? Is experience, involvement. And so I talked to you a little bit about Clubhouse, and there are two things that I've learned from this conversation that I'm like, you are absolutely right. Two things about this whole Clubhouse thing. And number one, everybody thinks they're an expert because you get on Clubhouse and you're like, that's neat. I'm glad you're an expert. Yeah, you know a few things. You've been a few things. You know some real estate stuff that I don't know. Yeah, you're more of an expert than I am. But now I know. And so this kind of is flattening the curve between those people who are experts and those who aren't.
Right.
And it's giving me an experience to get engaged with people that I don't normally engage with, like rabbis talking about marriage. And all of a sudden, them asking advice to me on how to be more, and I don't want to use the term because they didn't actually use this term without actually saying it, be more Christ-like in their own marriage. And it's like, that's giving me an opportunity.
That would be a weird thing for a rabbi to ask.
Yeah. But it's an opportunity. It's helped me experience some new things. And I'm like, I like that. I like getting to share some insight that I may have that someone else may not have.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives me an experience to ask some questions from someone who knows some things about history, who knows some things about tradition that, I adore in my Lord and Savior. Some things about tradition that I get to ask of them that I don't get to ask in a normal forum, that I don't get to ask in a podcast like this. If I'm just listening to your podcast, I'm like, hold on a second, I got to ask you a question. What you said about this and this, and makes me confused about this. Can you tell me more about it? Anyway.
Hey, you're always welcome to ask questions here. I just want you to know.
I ask a lot of questions. Anyway, experience is where it's at. I think that's where we need to go. We need to go with experience. How can we help people experience more? What can we do as two guys? How can we help people experience?
Well, just call us up and we'll come by your house. You said some really interesting things there. Primarily, one of the top ones is before this whole COVID thing. It's like I would have agreed with that before this whole COVID thing, and I don't disagree with it now. But One of the problems is going to be how does that experience thing become an executable, a deliverable?
Okay.
Because that is right where the axe hits the tree, so to speak. Is like we've this internet forum has now become kind of through default. What do you want to call it? The mother necessity's mother invention. By default has become the mechanism whereby we experience one another.
Yeah.
Let's see. You I think the rule holds true. I think there is a glut of content, and so it has to thin out. I
Yes.
think experience of the quote unquote expert will gain value, but I don't think in and of itself, because I don't think that resume kind of thing is going to work anymore. My experience, like I said, is that I listen to people talk, and then over time I see what they do, and then there's a kind of a mathematic thing that happens. Here's this minus this. What's that leave? And so experience isn't really denoted as, well, I've been here and I've done this. Experience becomes denoted through the what does one want to say? There's a component of reliability, there's a component of ethic, there's a component of integrity that all work together. So you begin to discern whether the source you are gaining this information from is an experienced source based on how reliable is the information you're getting. Are you getting information that's producing fruit in your life? Because if you do, you're going to look at that source as someone who has true experience and is a legitimate expert, whether or not they ever claim to be.
Right.
I don't need a diploma on my wall, in other words. If you hang out with me and I share stuff with you that's valuable and works in your life, you're going to come back for more, and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what we have to do, is make sure that what we say is applicable in a topical sense, like it's speaking to the felt
Hmm.
needs that people have in their lives. Are we dealing with that? And then are we giving, like I said, just good, practical, useful, nuts and bolts stuff that actually works? And,
Right.
however you want to
Right.
define fruit, produces some kind of fruit for that person, a payoff.
Right.
They
Right.
feel like it was worthwhile.
But an
And that
experience.
all happens relationally.
I'm sorry. I said but, and I don't want to say but because that means just forget
But
everything you said, and I don't want. An experience, however, allows us
no
to ask
offense intended.
questions. Allows us to ask questions, and allows us to be asked questions, which in turn causes us to think a little bit more about what we actually believe, about why we're actually doing the things and acting upon the beliefs that we have. We're able to ask questions so that we can kind of discern a little bit what the motive is behind why they told me such piece of information. Excuse me, which we don't get in the media because
Or
it's a one-way street. We don't get a chance to experience it. We get a chance to be a subject to it, right? See, I got all choked up over that because I was excited.
you was fighting.
I
Everybody knows
like
you was fighting.
I like the experience aspect because it causes us to rely on a little bit more on our own discernment on whether or not the things that we are being fed into our earballs make sense and go along the lines of the things that we actually have faith in and we actually believe, for whatever those things are. And then it causes other people to ask us more direct questions about the things that we say, which goes back to Jewish culture. And you've seen that in scriptures. Jesus always answered, I say always, most always answered a question with a question because it
Is
created
that
more
is that
conversation.
Hebrew? I just thought that was annoying.
I won't tell any of my Hebrew friends you said that.
I will tell them all. That is annoying.
But it is. It causes us to think more about it, causes us to go deeper into the subject, causes us to have a little bit more discernment about what we believe, what we think, and why we adhere to the things we do. So I think that's what the experience is about. I like it. I like it. It's not a one-way street anymore. It's not those people sitting on the end of this podcast or the end of this YouTube video and them going, "You jerkwads, you don't know what you're talking about." Let's actually have those conversations. Let's actually have those and tell me why I don't know what I'm talking about. Help me understand. I want to know. I want to grow. I want to know. I want to know. I want to grow. I'm turning into the Imperials
Or Dr. Seuss.
or Dr. Seuss
Please won't you show? I'd like to know.
so that I
And
can
then I want to
grow.
grow.
And then I want to grow. And then I
Bro.
want to go. And I want to go.
Soon. Soon I want to go.
Soon I want to go.
Once I've taken on the adequate amount of fluids. Yeah, I think it's
Liquid offerings.
we have gone through this time of like having all the voices that we've been taught to trust our entire lives turn out to be full of bunk. And so now the only true crucible of truth is experience.
Yes.
I can take what I say, I can take what you say, but until I've given it into the crucible and experience it, give it a spin, drive it around, test it out, kick the tires, light the fires, you don't know. And ultimately, that's the test. It's not my awesome recipe. My or that. It's not my awesome resume
You
or
do
my
have awesome
ability
recipes, by the way.
to thank you to like be a pitch man for myself and tell you about all my qualifications and all the things I've done. What matters is does the stuff I tell you hold water?
Right.
Does it bear fruit? You
Right.
know, and that's yeah. And
And
we're
that- and
back
that's-
to everybody's an expert at that point.
But that goes back to the whole universe of experience that we have as we grow, as we go through our daily lives. And there are certain things in my life that because we didn't have as we were younger, as you know, because you were there as we were younger, we didn't have the ability to get experiences, thoughts, and ideas outside of our own just spheres of our neighbor, our friends, the people we went to school with, the people we went to church with, and that was it. Now we've grown beyond that. And so there are things that I look back and I go, I used to think this way about this particular thing. But now that I'm able to talk to you about this stuff on a continual basis, now I'm able to talk to these Jewish rabbis about this particular thing. Now I'm able to talk to these diehard Muslim enthusiasts about whatever. I'm able to go, wait a minute, is this necessary? Is this real? Is this necessarily the experience that's true? Because this is what they're experiencing. Because they're experiencing real things too.
Mhm.
No matter what our background is, I'm not. I don't care what you believe or what you associate with.
I got this space one.
This thing, it's about the world.
Space background.
Space background. I don't care what your background is. Mine's just this gray wall.
Here's
That's
me
like-
adding the levity.
It's all right. I like it. I like it. Anyway, I like where we are now because we get the ability to go, hold on a minute. Let's get some input from the people who've had some experience in this.
Yeah, and we don't have to automatically bow to some
And I think that's what we've got to
expert.
teach. And I think that's what we've got to teach our younger generations is that, you need to take a lot of, because there's a lot of information. There's a lot of talk going on right now. There's a lot because of the internet, because we have there's a lot of information just being shot at us. We need to learn to, okay, let's take that. Let's compare that. Let's put that together. Does it fit? Does it work? Does it line up with what I believe, with what I think I'm called to do? Does it line up with love? Does it line
Right.
up with helping other people? Does it line up with, whatever does it line up with? We really need to teach ourselves to be more discerning of information and
Right.
words and things that people say. And I don't think I don't think we're getting any better at that.
No, but it's a
General
lot of it's
humanity,
because
we're just
that's
going like, you're right. I heard that. I'm going to the Capitol right now, and I'm going to bash some doors in. Yeah.
hey,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
that's worse than 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. That other
Pearl
thing
Harbor.
was-
That
that
is
other awful thing.
Oh, another awful place.
That you think
That's-
about the educational process that
Inciting
we go
violence.
through, and what they teach us is through repetition, regurgitation. What we fail to learn as a rule, what a lot of people fail to learn as a rule, is synthesis.
Mm.
How do I
Okay.
take all these different thoughts and these different point of view and all this different information and turn it into like a worldview?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We only know so and so said something, so it's true. So and so said something, so it's false. We
Right.
never synthesize. We never
Right.
pick those things apart. We've talked about it a lot here. We never examine our own motives and the reasons that we do things. And
Right.
it's just it's again all falls into that's uncomfortable giant category.
Right. Right.
But yeah, we have to teach ourselves, and if we're going to teach ourselves, we have to start by teaching our children. It is okay to question.
Yes.
It's not a damnable heresy to ask a question. It's not the worst thing in the world to have a different opinion or a
Glad to
different
know I'm
point of
not the
view.
only one who uses that phrase, damnable heresy.
Eh, and that's how we treat people. That's again, let's all the way around the horn back to Twitter, the Twitter sphere, and the cancel culture. That's what that message is. There aren't two opinions. There's a wrong opinion and there's a right opinion.
Based
And
on
that's
whose opinion?
well, whoever's running the social media.
Ah,
You know,
naturally. Jack.
that's the opinion that counts. Jack or Mark or whoever's running things wherever they're running. Not you, the other Mark.
What do you got against Marx?
Nothing. And yeah, so that becomes the standard by which it's not. There's no prize for thinking. I look at guys. That's why dudes
Oh,
like Elon Musk are such a delight to me because I'm like, wow, I don't have any idea how that dude's mind works.
hold
I
on.
think we could have a cool conversation, but his brain works on a different level.
You have to pause. You have to
All right,
pause for a second. Let
pause.
me write this down. Hold on. Hold on. Keep that thought. I have to go back here.
Okay.
I have to make a note. Oh my gosh, come on.
I'm going to get you a pencil.
There is no prize for thinking for yourself. I paraphrased a little bit.
I
Okay,
mean,
continue.
I think about like Bonhoeffer, and he said some things that in my younger Christian years I had a difficult time synthesizing. And his premise was that God raises us like children,
Hmm.
and then we become
Hmm.
teenagers and we become 20 years old, and then at some point we've got all the information, we've got everything we
Hmm.
need to know,
Hmm.
and God kind of does what our parents do and opens the door and lets us go.
Kicks us out of the nest.
And we've
Okay.
got to be able to take that stuff we knew and synthesize like worldviews and strategies and stuff with it. The mistake that some of us make is to sit around going, God, why aren't you speaking to me anymore? Why aren't you talking to me? Why are you telling me what to do? I did this. God, where'd you go? You didn't go anywhere. It's time to walk.
The
I'm
problem now.
done. Look, the footsteps thing is a nice idea, but I am done carrying you. Walk. Rise up,
Rock
take up
on
your bed,
own,
and
you
walk.
jackwagon.
Yeah. That's how our parents raise us. That's how animal parents raise animal babies.
Right. They kick him
They
out.
load you up with stuff, and then at some point,
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So here's where I want to go with this because I want to ask you a question. Does does a mama eagle, before she kicks the baby eagle out of the nest so that it can figure out if it can fly or not, does it make it question whether or not it's really an eagle? Because I think that's what our problem is in society. And you talk about synthesizing information. We can't synthesize information properly because synthesis happens based on DNA, based on what the DNA code is for that particular object or animal or plant. And if we don't know what we are, we can't synthesize information properly. If the mama eagle kicks
I
her baby
disagree.
out of the nest, wait a minute, if the mama eagle
Nope.
kicks her baby out of the nest and says, "Are you an eagle or are you an ostrich or are you a dolphin? Go." And then what happens is the baby goes, I don't know, maybe I am a dolphin. Maybe I should just fall into the water. And then we can't synthesize the information that we've collected based on the fact that we're confused at who we really are.
yeah,
And so that's the
True.
problem. That's the problem.
yes,
Is that our not our scientific DNA, but our cultural DNA is completely diluted with things that make us go, I don't know what I really associate with.
it's myopic and selfish. Yeah, the baby eagle is never presented that entire conversation.
No, of course not.
A
Of
baby
course not.
eagle's response to that would be like Paul's response to whether a Christian has to go to a church. And it would just be like,
Yeah. What? What? You talking to me?
yeah. No, it's not even in the it's like I think you pointed it out. It's humanity based. It's ego based.
Right. Right.
It's a self trip.
Right. But it's the mama eagle telling the eagle, hold on, you can't say that you're an eagle because you don't want to offend the dolphins.
Yeah, I think it's more of
You don't want to
the ground rushing toward your face that makes you do something.
you got to be careful. Just because you can fly does not mean you're not an ostrich. I know
Right.
an ostrich is a flightless bird, but we don't want to make them feel uncomfortable for the fact that we can soar on air currents and they cannot. So you really need to decide right now, at this moment, as you're rushing towards the ground and towards the
Right.
rock below, are you an eagle or are you an ostrich? Oh gosh, see, that goes back to what you were saying about the cancellation of culture. That's
Yeah.
what you were going back to saying. We're cancelizing culture. We're canceling culture and making the eagle go, oh, I want to be careful and I don't make the
You
ostrich.
doubt yourself and it sits on the ground and
Exactly.
it dies because
Exactly.
it can't
And
eat
it
because it
dies.
doesn't go and do anything.
Right.
You know what the greatest part of falling to the ground is? There's very little time for theoretic conversations. There's only really enough time for action.
Right. But a lot of us don't know that we're headed for the ground.
Yes, true. Ooh, that's meaty. I like
A
that.
lot of us don't know that we're just
The
in a
theme of this
spiral.
week's episode is, hey, that's the ground rushing toward your face. You should do something.
A lot of us aren't Maverick going, reach the eject, pull the eject, pull the eject.
And the word do is in giant capital letters because we're
Right.
not here to think about or talk about. You only have enough time to do something.
Right. Right.
If you choose to spend that time discussing your inner selfness, you're going to eat dirt.
Ah, man, that's so good.
Well, that just jumped up and started going, didn't it?
It did. It did. Start up now. Now we feel like we gotta. Now we gotta.
And that was your podcast.
There you go. All right. And now, hopefully, we'll be together this weekend. We can get some things going.
I hope so.
I was thinking about we should get our wives in on this next conversation. What do you think? No? Yeah. Come on.
I don't care. We won't have to say anything. We'll still have drinks, right?
Of course.
Oh, it'll be
Always.
in that
should
case.
be-
Let's sit back and laugh and let them have it.
That's about DNA. That's who we are. So we don't need to question that. Yes, there will be.
I don't
scotch
care who talks.
or bourbon. But I was
As
thinking it might be
long
kind
as
of
there's
fun.
drinks,
Might be
it
kinda
could be
fun to
really
set up
it
the
could be really
microphones.
funny.
It might be fun to sit up the microphones around the table and the four of us just sit there and go, all right, so what do you think about this? I want to say
Oh,
this. Response? Go. It might be kind of fun. I don't know. It's just a thought. I had
Man.
that
It could be. I'm not saying
a few
no.
minutes ago. I was thinking that might be kind of fun just to sit around the table and do
I'm
that.
down for humor.
But
I'm
either
down for humor.
probably before we go to karaoke. Yeah. I take that back. Before we go watch you do karaoke. That's funny.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. We're in charge.
Of course we can.
I'm not against it.
All right. No, and again, we'll have time. We might have some sober moments in there where we can go. All right, let's actually sit down and do something serious.
If the blizzard don't come and I get my car fixed, everything will be fine.
What's wrong with your car?
Oh, it started throwing a warning light yesterday when Jackie was coming home and did it to her again on the way. And Fix-It guy was supposed to bring his code reader to work tomorrow and look at it. He don't think it's much of anything, but we'll see. Just double checking. Don't want to throw out on the road with something getting ready to break.
Well, I got a car you can take back if it doesn't get
Oh,
you.
cool. Well, in that case,
Yeah,
or I could
I
just
mean,
borrow
it's-
your motorcycle. You don't have
No,
it
I sold
anymore.
the motorcycle.
I know, but it was for the joke. Like,
Oh,
you'd be
okay.
riding
Yeah,
a motorcycle in this weather.
I don't know what's more fun to think about. Someone riding a motorcycle in this weather or you riding a motorcycle. Period.
Ever.
No
Ever.
matter what no matter
Ever.
what kind of weather it is. I like the idea of you just riding a motorcycle in a thong. I'm thinking, in Florida, in the Keys. the
Sounds
Florida
vibrating.
Keys, you in a thong wearing flip-flops riding a motorcycle just to me
Moped.
says
Moped.
no, a motorcycle, just a big old hog. big handlebars way up here. You just leaning back, and you got all you got on is swim trunks, thongs, and goggles. To me, I'm
Right?
just like,
And the gas tank, it says
that's where I want to be.
French Tickler on the gas
Yeah.
tank.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sure. I'm down with it. To me, that just says that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. I want to be standing on the street corner watching you go
I
by,
found the
going,
party.
"What the hell?" All right, I like it.
I found the party. What's the cover charge?
That's all. That's all I want to be. Just standing on the corner, going, "Yeah, I want to go with that guy. Yeah, wherever he's going." That would be great.
Funny stuff.
Cool. I like it. My wife just texted me.
Uh-oh. Supper
I'm up
time.
for Andy's. Who's up for Andy's at what's the temperature outside? 12?
Something
1.
like that.
It's 1.
Back
It's
down
1
to
degrees.
1. We were at 12 a
It's
little while ago.
it's 1 degree.
It was
1
almost
degree.
warm enough for ice cream, but now it's
1
not.
degree. It's good. It's good enough for Andy's, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I'm down with it.
If you don't have to touch it,
At least you don't have to worry about it melting when you get home. You just roll all the windows down, drive fast on the way home. There you go, and the Andy stays just as fresh as it was made that moment. That's colder than a brass bra.
it's colder than a witch's bra and a brass bra.
A witch's bra. Nice. All right. Well, I'm praying and believing. I'm believing. Do you know how you believe?
By faith?
Do you know how you believe?
Are you? If you're not
This is
believing
how
by
you-
faith, you're not
This
getting
is how you
nothing.
believe. This is how I believe. That's how I believe.
I like to make the sound that Clark Griswold makes as he's plugging the.
I like that. That's good. I'm believing that it's going to work out. You're going to be here. We're going
I
to
am
be here.
too.
We're going to be together.
Yep.
I got out in the blizzard yesterday, and
I'm
I had
sorry.
a couple of errands I had to run because it was off. It was a holiday. We were off. We were supposed to have some meetings, and we didn't end up having some meetings because our boss is like cool and says, hey, since the weather's bad, we're not going to have those meetings. Just take the day off. So
That's a good boss.
took that. That is a good boss. I took that opportunity to run by Macadoodles to restock some of the supplies that have been,
Yeah.
quickly been devoured because of the pandemic and the weather.
Sure.
And things like that.
Lockdowns. The
Yeah,
lockdowns.
exactly.
Lockdowns
And,
will deplete your stores.
And I'm standing in there looking around going, I need to wait until this weekend because we're going to be here, you and I, which that's our thing. Going to go and stand there and look at the Glens and the things and go, that's what we want. Yeah, let's try that. So anyway, I opted for the $20 bottle of bourbon versus the 130. So I'm saving it. So
That's a big jump.
it is a big jump, but now I only have 110 since I already bought the $20 bottle of bourbon. So
You're cute.
anyway, I had a gift card, so it was only $7 because
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
yeah. So anyway, I got back in the car and Deborah's like, "That's it." I was like, "Yeah, I just remembered that Doug's gonna be here this week, so yeah, we want to go and pick something out
I
together."
like to hold hands and walk around the store.
Yeah, we want to do that. We want to skip around the store and go, "Oh,
Giggle.
look at that, giggle." Yes, and
You're
braid
so
each other's
cute.
hair, braid each other's hair, and and pick the best bourbon and scotch for the moment. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
As am I. As am I.
Yeah, but I do have I'm going to be well socially lubricated probably by the time you get here because I do have a meeting that evening before you get here with someone that we normally drink a few
It'll be all right.
local brews. So I just want you to know I'm going to be when you get here.
You think I'm gonna get all judgy?
raring and ready to go.
You've been drinking without
No, I
me.
just want you to be prepared. I just want you
All
to be
right.
prepared. Look, Doug, I'm not cheating on you.
I'll
Just
lube up
letting
on
you
the way.
know. There you go. Hey, there you go.
I'll
Make your
lube up
wife
en
try it.
route.
Oh, that's kind of frightening. But I
Yep.
like it. Some part of me really likes it. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, cool. Okay.
There it is. My last
It's-
until
it's-
I see you.
Mostly water now, isn't it? Or is it?
I don't think so.
What's on your glass there? What is that on there on the glass? I saw you showed me that last time. What is that? Chavis. Is it Chavis or Chavis? We already
Chivas.
talked about it. Chivas. It would be spelled with an S if it were
Chivas Regal.
if it were Hebrew, right? Shabbos. The look on your face, like,
I don't know, man. I
It's a good
gotta,
question.
I gotta go way in the back of the memory banks to pull up any Hebrew at this point.
Way back.
Yes, I'm 10 years out of school now. Imagine that.
Has it already been 10 years? Wow,
Yep.
that's crazy.
I know. I feel like we should have another graduation party. The last time I graduated, you and your wife's dads were both still alive.
Wow.
How depressing is that?
But you could only go back, you could go back 2 years and find that. You're talking about 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
10 years ago. All right, old man.
That was hateful.
I'm just giving it like it is.
Oh, okay.
It is what it is. I'm going to be 50
All right.
this year.
I
50.
know.
The Gentlementor.